The Swedish public transport sector has a very ambitious goal and has been doing really well in terms of renewable fuel deployment. We thought about looking how the different regions of Sweden perform in terms of fossil-free fuels deployment. And when I say fossil-free fuels, I mean biodiesel, biogas, ethanol, and electricity, which is at demo stage, but is actually a very important part of the whole process because most of the push is now for electric hybrid or fully electric buses. So what we did is that we first mapped the regional share of biofuels in the bus fleets in order to see differences, and we saw a very big difference in the north to south axis in the different regions of Sweden because of climatic conditions, different distances of traveling, and also bigger costs of transport in the north compared to the more populated south of Sweden. And then we also mapped this here in this chart, so that we could be able to see exactly how the different regions perform in terms of renewable fuels and in comparison to population density. And what we actually saw was very interesting because we saw that it's not only population density or transport volume that affect how much renewables you have in the bus fleet, but it's also political will that pushes some smaller regions in order to perform better and use fossil-free fuels. And then the last thing we did was that we asked also the people working with public transport, the environmental managers at the regional authorities, what are the priorities they have when they choose a fuel for buses, and what are the barriers they face when they make those choices. So when it comes to priorities, the environmental benefits are a very big priority, as well as noise reduction, because at the moment regionally in Sweden they push for better urban environments with lower noise and nicer conditions. But on the barrier side, we have a problem with the cost, on the fuel availability, and also the infrastructure investments that are needed. And that is something that is highlighted in this chart showing the replies from the people in the authorities. So generally, the final conclusion is that there is a lot of progress being done. It doesn't always have to do about the prerequisites of the region or the amount of passengers. It has to do also with political will. But we also need to take a better look in how these choices are made to support the investments in these choices, and also to focus not only on emission reduction with fossil-free fuels, but also improving the efficiency of the fleet.
We have gone in Sweden from just a few percent of renewable fuels in bus transport to approximately 60% today, countrywide. Some areas are better than others, like Stockholm, for example. But this was achieved in only 5-6 years. So this tells us how important it is to have the right frameworks, to the institutional framework, to use the right tools to actually push the new fuels, the new technologies in the market. It was no technology wonder. The technology was there. The difference was that we actually had a target and we worked together for it. And this is what Maria's work has shown very clearly.